No maid lasted more than 24 hours in that mansion. Every woman who walked through those tall golden doors ran out crying by sundown. Why? Because of them, the billionaire's triplet sons. Spoiled, wild, and completely out of control. But one day, a calm black woman stepped in and did something no one expected. Let's dip in. The Kensington mansion was the stuff of dreams. Gleaming marble floors, walls painted with gold accents, and a fountain bigger than some swimming pools. But inside, it was chaos. No one could control them. Logan, Lucas, and Liam, the billionaire's 6-year-old triplets, were infamous. They'd emptied shampoo on maids' heads, locked a butler in the pantry, and even set a staff member's shoes on fire. Their father, Mr. James Kensington, CEO of a tech empire, was a man too busy making billions to parent. 37 maids had come and gone in just 4 months. The mansion doors had become a revolving exit. Find me someone who can actually do the job. James barked at his head of staff. Her name was Grace. She walked in with a calm smile, carrying nothing but a small suitcase and wearing a plain white blouse. She wasn't intimidated by the mansion, nor by the horror stories she'd heard about the triplets. When she arrived, the staff whispered, "She won't last till dinner." And the boys? Oh! They were already planning her downfall. They put frogs in her drawers, spilled juice on the hallway, and screamed until their throats hurt. But Grace didn't react. She just smiled and said, "Is that all?" When Liam tossed a toy at her head, she caught it without flinching and calmly said, "You throw like a sleepy kitten." The boys were stunned. Nobody talked back to them like that. Day by day, Grace worked her magic. Not with spells, but with kindness, firm boundaries, and endless patience. When Lucas refused to eat vegetables, Grace didn't argue. She made a game out of it, saying, "Every green bite powers up your muscles." When Logan threw tantrums, she didn't yell. She sat beside him quietly until he calmed down. At first, they resisted, screamed louder, made bigger messes. But Grace didn't bend. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She just stayed. By the end of the first week, something strange happened. The boys stopped yelling. They started listening. They even smiled. One night, Mr. Kensington returned from a business trip, shocked to find the triplets asleep by 8 p.m., something that hadn't happened since their mother died 2 years ago. One day, as James walked past the playroom, he saw something that made him freeze. Grace was on the floor, building Lego castles with his sons. Logan was laughing. Lucas had his head resting on Grace's shoulder. Liam was snoring peacefully in her lap. James blinked. This wasn't possible. Later that night, he sat down with Grace. "How did you do it?" he asked. Grace smiled. They weren't bad kids, just heartbroken, angry, and alone. That hit James harder than he expected. He'd buried himself in work after his wife passed. He'd thought giving his sons money, toys, and staff would fill the void. But Grace? She gave them what no one else did: attention, structure, and love. Weeks turned into months. Grace became more than just a maid. She was a mentor, a comforter, a guardian angel. The boys began calling her Miss G, then simply Mama G. And James? He began noticing more than just her skills. Her presence filled the mansion with warmth it hadn't known in years. One stormy night, when lightning knocked out the power, all 3 boys climbed into Grace's bed. She pulled them close, humming a lullaby. James quietly opened the door, witnessing the scene. A woman who didn't share their blood, holding his boys like they were her own. His heart softened. It wasn't long before he made a decision, not as a CEO, but as a father. One morning, over pancakes, James looked at Grace and said, "You saved this family. I don't know what we'd do without you." She smiled warmly, wiping maple syrup from Liam's cheek. "They saved me, too." And from that day on, Grace was no longer just a maid. She was part of the family. So remember, sometimes the biggest miracles don't come from money or power. They come from patience, kindness, and the courage to love. Grace didn't just tame the billionaire's triplets. She healed a broken home. Like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that prove one person really can change everything.